reduce, reuse, and recycle is something that most of us have heard of, right?
Reduce, reuse, ikiki.
Because governments all over the world are basically, I don't know, nagging us with this quote, hey, we need to recycle more, we need to reduce, we need to reuse. Well, actually it's just recycle. They talk about recycle more than they do about the two important R's, which is reduce and reuse. And here's the thing, I'm the type of guy that I don't mind to reduce, I don't mind to reuse, right? I don't mind to recycle, I don't mind any of them. But here's the problem, how can you reduce and reuse when the quality has gone down, but the prices keep going up, which is something that boggles the mind of myself. So I've got a few examples first, because I like doing it this way. And then at the end I'm gonna tell you what do I think the solution is, right? Well, not necessarily the solution, but my opinion. So, first example, let's take cars first, okay? When I think about quality cars, I think about, I don't know, the early 2000s and, 90s European cars, and also the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s American muscle car, the type of cars that can sit for decades, but still start if you give them some fuel, spark, and air. And they also make compression and all that kind of stuff, oil pressure, but it doesn't matter. The point is, the quality of those cars back in the day was quite high, and because it was quite high, most of them that sat for decades can still start. But if you take a car from, I don't know, 2016, 2017 that has been sitting since, right, till today, and you try to start it, maybe it will start, but the amount of problems or the amount of fixing that needs to be done is almost biblical. And that's kind of the thing that annoys me, which is the fact that sure, cars have become better in a way, but I think they're better in a wrong way rather than in a right way, because there's so much complexity going on. Living in the European Union, that means cars are way more complex than some American ones, even though there might be the same level of complexity, but some are totally unnecessary. And yeah, if you think about it, they're way more complex. Quality, not really there. They're starting to rust kind of fast, right? If you just chip away the paint just a little bit, or just on their own, right? Because they're made badly. Because right now it's no longer quality, it's quantity that we need. And I understand, because there's a lot of humans on this planet, and we can't make, I don't know, cars to be at the same level of quality that was back in the day, and to make them in way higher numbers because we need it. So I kind of understand it. What I do not understand is the pricing. Why does the price go up when the quality does not go up, or at least the quality does not stagnate? That's the thing that annoys me the most. But maybe I'm not that good at economics and that type of stuff, and inflation and whatever. The way I would describe inflation is taking a Toblerone bar from the 2000s and taking one from today and showing you the difference. That's kind of how I describe inflation. But the fact of the matter is this. When it comes to cars, even though they're better in a way, they make way more horsepower, they're way more efficient, that kind of means nothing to me, because they break way more often, because they're so complex, the repair costs sometimes don't even make sense, and just repairing them in general, right? And that kind of fits into the fact that we're no longer reducing and reusing. We're not reducing because we kind of cannot reduce on a larger scale, I mean, because there's more of us out there, so we need more cars, unfortunately. But we cannot reuse them because sometimes it's way more expensive to fix them than, the actual car would cost. So we need to recycle them, which is not that good, because think about it. You're gonna pollute when you make a car, but you're also gonna pollute when you recycle the car. I mean, where's the logic in that? And this is kind of it for the cars example, because this annoys me quite a lot. But you know what's even more infuriating? The fact that I have an Opel from 2007. It's a 1.6. I can't find that many new spare parts. I cannot find them that easily. They're not that cheap. Most of the times I have to resort to, I don't know, buying second-hand ones, which is not a good choice most of the times. And you know what's more annoying? The fact that in America they still make a lot of parts for cars that are, heck, even 60 years old, which is something that I don't understand. My dear European Union, why don't you do the same thing, please? Okay, you make a car, make parts for it for 40 years or more. Reduce, reuse. How can I reuse if I cannot repair it? Anyway, this is just getting annoying, so I'm just gonna move on to the next two rapid fire examples, because I really think that examples are kind of pointless, because I think most of us have gone through this already and already know the whole shebang and caboodle, the whole shenanigans of reduce, reuse, recycle, and the inflation, quality, supply versus demand, and all that type of stuff. I just want to give my opinion about it at the end and give you a little bit of an advice, right? That maybe it will help you, I hope. So, next example will be movies, and the one that kind of stands out the most for me is the Lord of the Rings trilogy that cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 million to make, right, back in the day, which I'm sure is more expensive in today's money, and the TV series, whatever that's on Netflix or wherever it is, or oh no, it's actually on Amazon, The Rings of Power, that costs $150 million per season, which is outrageous, given the fact that the quality of that show is ass, okay? That's something that, again, I don't understand. You compare a movie from back in the day, its special effects, to one that was made, I don't know, in the last 5 years, and in some cases, the old one stands the trial of time better, which is something that I don't understand. I mean, the quality of our equipment has improved, and so did the special effects, right? Why does it still look like shit but cost way more money? It just doesn't make any sense. And that kind of makes me think, who is getting richer? Because, okay, it's way more expensive to make it. Is it because you're paying the small people, you know, the working class, a better salary? No, it's not that you're paying yourself a higher salary. Again, this is just annoying. And moving on to the last example, as I said, I wanted to make them rapid fire because, let's be honest, we all went through this at one point. And the last example is my favorite, video games. You know, I've been playing recently Forza Horizon 4, and I realized that I like it way more than I do Forza Horizon 5, just because the setting of, you know, an English village is so much better. The aesthetics of it, the visuals are so much better, even though I think Forza Horizon 5 has better graphics with quotation marks around it, but that's not really the case. I mean, I'm sure most of you have played some recent games where you look at them and you're like, it's pretty, but not really. I mean, the lighting is pretty, the rest is kind of ass. The rest looks like, I don't really like it. What's happening? And that's the other thing that annoys me about video games. Okay, we have advanced so much when it comes to our technology, and some games look like they only focus on lighting, right? Okay, sure, the lighting is fine. What about the scenery, the map design, everything else? I did not think about that. And don't even get me started about the fact that here is a good, and I think very good example, GTA 5. A very complex game. Okay, you cannot say GTA 5 is not complex. You cannot say GTA 5 graphics, the standard ones, are not good. They are very good, even by today's standards, right? Sure, they had 1,000 developers. But again, it's a very complex game. And how much money did it cost to make that game, and how much time? Well, 4 years, 2009 to 2013. $265 million. If we adjust it for today's money, I'm just gonna say it's $370 million, because some sites said it was 400 million, some said 340, and you have to adjust to the fact that it was made between 2009 and 2013. So I'm just gonna go with $3,070 million adjusted to today's money and inflation and all that kind of stuff. Again, complex, good looking, stood the trial of time. What about Conquered, who had $400 million as a budget? Yeah, it took 8 years to make, and it died in 2 weeks. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I think the woke part kind of killed it, you know, but $400 million for a game that is not that complex, it's just Overwatch, dude, okay? How many maps do you have? How big are they? How many characters do you have? How many abilities do they have? Because I just don't see it. $400 million for that heap of trash? Even if it wouldn't have died and heck, 10 people would have played it on a daily basis, I still cannot see how can you justify the same budget as GTA 5 for Conquer to have that same budget. It's just unbelievable, my man. That's just it. I get it that video games are expensive, but again, who is getting richer from making these video games, right? because you have paid $400 million to who? Okay, to GTA 5 I can say that, hey, 1,000 developers is quite a lot. 150 is not that many, but $400 million. How was that money distributed, you know? It just makes you think. And you know, it's not just that, just look at graphics in general and gameplay in general. You know, everything is starting to look like the same. I mean, the last Far Cry games, the last Assassin's Creed games, the same thing, you know, same gameplay, a little bit of a graphical improvement and that's it. Different characters. It's just annoying. It's basically they are copying themselves, not improving by that much, you know, minimal improvements, but the prices are going up. And it's the same with movies, it's the same with cars and video games. Prices up, quality down. So, now that I've finished with my examples that annoyed me quite a lot, what wisdom can I bestow upon your very big brain? Well, you know, we really need to reduce and reuse. It is very unfortunate though, the fact that high-ranking politicians can have a climate change meeting to decide how we're gonna do things, all of us, you know, because we're all a big family. However, when you ask for a pay rise, they just give you a pizza party because that's so much better. I can pay my taxes and rent and everything with a pizza party, while you have polluted as much as I did in my entire lifetime on this planet, just with that one trip with your private jet. Yes, I can really see how I am the problem. But all this sarcasm aside, I really think that we should reduce and reuse, mainly because it's a benefit for us. And as a side effect, a benefit for the world. But I think it's a bigger benefit for us, let's be honest, because when you, I guess, pinpoint how much you actually need on a day-to-day basis when it comes to food, entertainment, that kind of stuff, you know, everything, I think you're going to be able to live a much happier life. And it's gonna be way more comfortable that way, right? You're not gonna overindulge in some things and make it worse, you know, make it so that you have to pay even more because you're starting to greed over some things. So, you know, we kind of need to live a lifestyle that is balanced, you know, even though this is coming from someone with a very unbalanced lifestyle, but do as I say, not as I do. I know that what I'm saying is no shit, Sherlock. It's logical. Yes, but you know, I'm doing my part. You know, if I help one person, it's enough for me. You know, I'm happy. Even though that person is not myself, which I should actually do. But besides the point, okay? Reduce, reuse. A very good thing. Try and do it. You know, the only caveat is that you kind of need to find out what you actually need and what you don't need, right? And that's kind of the hard part. And it's basically the part where I can't really give you an advice on how to achieve that. But this is kind of the point of this video, you know? Reduce, reuse, recycle. Although society and most governments, I don't know, they care more about recycling because that's easier. And let's be honest, they do not want to reduce and reuse because that's not a profitable scheme, right? Yeah, that's the thing. And it's sad, but you know, as was with the Arizona iced tea company, a company that refused to raise prices because they wanted, you know, their customer to enjoy the same beverage for the same price. You know, there's still good people out there. We just need to find them and support those good people, not the assholes that are ruining our lives. So, in the end, did you like the video? Heck, maybe even give it a like if you did. Maybe even subscribe. I don't know. I'm not gonna force you. You do you. In the end, I just wish you a good night, good morning, good day. Whatever it is, I really hope it's good because all of us deserve it. Sending you smooches. I would like to ask you, hey, do you know any video of a cute animal kissing the camera? Because I kind of need one. I wasn't able to find one. So if you find one, please send it to me. Pretty please. And goodbye, my dear.